Hi everyone, and we're live. Welcome to the first episode of Communications. I have with me today Becca and Donna. Um,
Hi.
would you both like to tell everyone a bit about yourselves? Um, Donna.
Hey, I'm Donna. Jen's invited me into this chat because of a tweet that I tweeted about passing a uni module, even though I'm dyslexic. And from that, we got chatting. So, yeah, I've never done a YouTube live stream before. So, apologies in advance.
Cool. Becca. I
Hey,
think everyone watching at the moment knows you, but if anyone's watching later,
yeah, if anyone's watching later, I'm Becca. I float around the edge of YouTube channels at the minute because my husband has one. I'm dyslexic, dyspraxic, dysgraphia. I got the trifecta. So when Jen asked, I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So we'll see how this goes. This should
alright.
be fun.
And of course, I'm Jen, and this is Jen's Little Corner channel, but this isn't a Jen's Little Corner video. This is Communications, my new series where we talk about different issues in society, and we're starting with dyslexia, something that all three of us suffer with. I having talked with both Becca and Donna a fair bit in private chat about this. I actually think my condition isn't quite as bad as either of you, but still bad enough to cause issues.
Yeah.
It's never fun.
No, it's not. And I think that's something that people just don't really understand about being dyslexic. It's almost like the forgotten condition.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I think what it is like you can be super intelligent in your mind, you can speak it, but then when it comes to grades, you're stuffed
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll
a
get
little
it down
bit.
to a nightmare.
and most teachers don't really understand it. So it comes down to I know both of you have had this where you've had teachers either in high school or in university level where they've said, "Oh, you're just going to have to try harder."
Mm. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah,
Or words to
I'll
that
let
effect.
Becca do that one because hers was a
yeah.
bit more
Yours was
extreme.
dreadful, Becca. Do
Yeah,
you want to tell your story?
so the week after my mum passed away, I'd been diagnosed about 6 months before. I was 21. Um, so I've been 20 when I was diagnosed. Um, I was a history undergrad and I went back to uni because I wanted to finish my degree. I was like, my mum put me through uni. I'm going to finish this. Come hell or high water, I'm going to finish this. And I walked into the class, and when I'd first got in touch with the tutor, I'd emailed him beforehand, explained the situation, said, can I get someone's notes to catch up or anything like that? Because I'd missed about 3 weeks around the funeral and everything else. And he seemed all right. And then in the middle of the class, um, he wanted us to read something, and he gave us all of about 2 minutes to read it.
Oh,
And it was like half a journal article, so it wasn't a small piece of reading. Um,
Wow.
And they said, "Oh, you should all be finished." And I'm looking up and around, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've finished, but I need to read it again because I don't remember it." And he picked on me for some reason. And I said to him, and he saw me looking back down. It was like, "What were you doing for the time I gave you to read it?" And I just looked at him. I said, "I'm dyslexic. I can't remember it." And he genuinely looked at me in the middle of the seminar room. And it was a popular course, so there's about 15 of us in there. Looked at me and he said, "You're not dyslexic, you're either lazy or stupid."
uh, the
And I
lazy or
tore
stupid.
into him. Like, my mother had died less than a month before. I wasn't in a good place mentally, and I tore into him. I lost it completely, and I schooled that guy that day. I wasn't dealing with it. I said, "I'm not lazy, I'm not stupid. But I tell you what, I really hope you're not too comfortable in your office." Because what he didn't realise was I was recording all the seminars because of
Oh,
my dyslexia. And I had it on the recording what he said
savage.
clearly. So I
Can't
went and I
believe.
complained, but he was a tenured professor, so not all that much was done, to be fair.
Yeah.
But what I did do, all the Facebook groups for the students and everything else, this little clip of that recording went straight into all of them. So I was like, if the university's not going to do anything about it, I've got a duty to warn other dyslexic students what this guy's like.
Just
Um,
disgusting.
and I just, I you know, I had enough. I don't know what happened to him in the end. He's probably still there. But he was, you know, the stereotypical academic. Like, this guy was so up his own backside, apologies, but so far up his own backside. He wore academic robes to teach second years.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Like, what a brat.
Who does that in England? That's not normal practice.
Yeah, that's not normal.
I thought you were going to say he was so far up his own ass he could look out his own eyeballs.
Sounds like that.
I think he was even further, to be fair. I think he was trying to look like...
He was trying to go around and go back up his ass again. Yeah.
But...
Wow, this one didn't take long to get there.
Not at all. And I mean, that's probably the worst I had from an academic ableism standpoint. But you'd be surprised how many people looked at me and went, "But you're not stupid, you can read."
I know.
You're really clever. And
Oh my gosh.
What dyslexia means. Like, my own parents, and I do want to say this for anyone who's going to watch this as a parent, you didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault your child is dyslexic. Because my mum wept and cried. She thought she'd done something wrong.
My dad too.
She'd damaged me, or there was something wrong with her. And I was just like, no, she didn't have anyone to say that to her. But I'm telling you, as someone with dyslexia, as a parent, you haven't done anything wrong. But with the qualifier, yet.
Yeah. My dad is...
ways you can seriously damage your child once they've been diagnosed. Please be careful.
Yeah. We have a comment from... Sorry,
carry on.
We have a comment from Orla in the audience. It's not necessarily true dyslexia. Also comes with poor sentence structure, auditory dysfunction, and aphasia with nouns. This is a scale, of course, so you may not get these things. But yeah, dyslexia can interfere with speech, and kids can have delayed speech.
Yeah,
And that was really hard to read. Sorry, Orla. Not the way you wrote it. It was just me. I was having to constantly try and put the sentences back together in my head.
Do either of you two do the thing where you swap words in a sentence as you're talking?
Yeah.
I've done that.
And my sentence structure is so back to front. The English language is crap.
Yeah. I mean, everyone should just go back to speaking Latin, like that had no real structure as such.
Yeah.
Or at least the structure was more fluid.
Because I have that my sentences make sense, but I always get told they're not proper English.
Do you do the same thing when you type? I mean, I know we do it when we write it, but yeah, I will type sentences and then realize that no, that's not right. That actually doesn't make any sense anymore. And then I've got to go back and delete it. It's why I often say I'm the typo queen, because most of my typos are my dyslexia. They've got absolutely nothing to do. If I have spelling mistakes, it's usually my dyslexia.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, I didn't find out till uni. So I got through all of high school fine because I was getting good grades. So I was getting, C's and B's. So they were like, whatever, you're passing. They don't mind. And then you get to uni and they tested me, like we said. So it was just out of the blue. We were a cohort of nurses starting and they were doing a study. So they took us and they used us and offered everyone a formal psychologist report. Came back, I was dyslexic. And then I had a tutor and she was like, Donna, your sentences, they don't really make sense. And I'm like, what do you mean? It makes sense to me.
See, that's what gets me, that it's not picked up in us that well when we're younger. It's not even picked up as a proper learning disability because they go, oh no, you're intelligent, you know what you're doing, so maybe you're just lazy or you can't be bothered or whatever. And I go, well, that's not the way to... Yeah, and now my brain doesn't want to make a sentence at all. That's not the way to work with this. You go and figure out why the kid's got a problem with making those sentence structures.
That's it, yeah.
I'll give you the best one. When I was a kid, really young, I don't even remember this. When I got diagnosed, my mum told me this story. Apparently, I was tested for dyslexia when I was a kid, when I first started to read and write, because I was writing my letters backwards. But the doctor told my mum it was because I was left-handed and I'd grow out of it.
Huh? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Early 90s, mid-90s.
For goodness sake.
That just makes no sense. Apparently, because I was left-handed and I was trying to follow the handwriting books, I was doing it backwards.
No, that
because I was left-handed. Makes no
So
sense.
happy. So I've spoken to the playgroup about getting my son tested, because I'll get both of my kids tested because I got missed, and they don't really like advise you to do it till they're about 7 in the UK. It's because I spoke to one of the playgroup teachers, an ex-teacher, and she said I wouldn't yet. I was like, well, I kind of rather know now. But I don't know if it's just because he's not doing much writing yet, or but I'd like to have it before school so that I can go in and kind of be like, look, he is gonna struggle. So please, can you?
This is what I need. Put it in place.
Yeah, this is it, because I got nothing. But who knows? I am not a psychologist, so I don't know.
is it genetic?
Well, I don't know, but my dad had a really, really bad dyslexia, and he was back in the day of, he got made to play drafts and snakes and ladders instead of learning.
Because they said he had a learning difficulty instead of he had dyslexia.
Yeah, so him and his friend used to be put in a room.
See, that's what I don't like, because dyslexia isn't... It's a learning difficulty in that it makes it harder to learn because we have to re-go over things. But it's not a learning difficulty in the same way as a lot of other learning difficulties are.
Yeah, so it's something you can live with and you can work around.
Yeah, and most people with dyslexia can live a completely normal life. It's just makes some things more complicated.
That's it. So my dad's a highly intelligent person, but because they never took the time, his spelling's awful. The joy of predictive text, though, that's helped him the innovations. But yeah, it was awful, and they didn't encourage anything. So he's amazing. He's amazing with woodwork. They didn't encourage anything. Him and his friend were put in a room, and that was that. That's where you are, and it's just horrific.
You have a chance, yeah.
How do you cope, Becca, with and you too, Donna? How do you cope with writing dissertations?
With great difficulty.
Sorry, you carry on.
So, because where my qualifications are in mostly IT and maths, whilst I wrote essays and some dissertations, I didn't do an awful lot of that. My qualifications come up to about the level of an advanced diploma. So I didn't do a PhD or anything like that. So I didn't have to write big long dissertations, and I'm just whacking my leg against something here. So whilst I did English literature as well, and I found that immensely hard, because writing essays on books that I was supposed to have read in 2 weeks and took me a month to read was just absolutely nightmarish for me. I wish I'd never taken the subject. It was absolutely horrific for me. And yet I did business communications as well, which is a harder English subject to do, and no problems, because that's all about the form of what you do rather than the substance and sentence structure. It's about following a format, and that's a lot. I found that a lot easier to do with my dyslexia than I did to actually write practical criticisms or write a dissertation.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I cannot follow a format when I'm writing. I've just got to write. If I try and follow a format, because I'm checking backwards on what the template is constantly, I don't know what I'm writing. With me, like I said, I wasn't diagnosed until uni, so I did GCSEs, at which I was a straight A student pretty much, except in a couple of B subjects, which were not English, funnily enough, were maths and chemistry. And I did English literature at GCSE. I did it again at A level, and then I went on to a history undergrad. And through most of that, I had no support whatsoever, because they didn't know I had it.
Yeah.
And I never had a problem as such, but what I realised is that I seemed to be doing about 3 times as much work and putting in 3 times as much time as everyone else. So the teacher would say, "Oh, there's this thing you've got to read, and it should take you about 20 minutes. And yeah, I could read it in 5 minutes flat, but then I'd have to read it again and again in that 20 minutes to be able to remember even the vague structure of what was in it."
Yeah, I get that.
And then when I'm writing as well, I'll start writing a sentence And by the time I've got to the end of the sentence, I can't remember what I wanted to put because I've forgotten the start of the sentence.
Oh.
And that's horrible. My short-term memory is horrendous.
Yeah.
Just completely. I'm one of those people as well. I will not remember anything I've said on this stream once it's over.
Oh.
I will have to go back and watch it to remember what I said and make sure I didn't make a complete prat of myself.
Well, you're not making a prat of yourself.
So you learn to ride by the seat of your pants a bit when it's like that. But I mean, it's for me, dissertations, it gives me more scope to actually witter on. There's a lot of great technology out there. My life got so much easier once I was told what kind of technology was out there. Dragon, naturally speaking, hates me because I've got a Yorkshire accent. But once it works, it does work. To the person who invented mind maps, I will find you and I will kill you. No, I won't, but oh my God, who came up with that? And then who thought giving it to dyslexic people was a good idea? Everything's already jumbled in my head. Why do you want me to put that on paper jumbled?
I've never been suggested to do mind maps, so when you first mentioned it the other day, I was like, what on earth are mind maps?
No, I read there's like a little purple book that I got in my university library that said dyslexics retain information better if it's all presented in linear form, because not all dyslexics like mind maps, and linear form is easier to follow. And then all the pertinent information within that book from then on in was presented as a mind map. And oh my gosh, I nearly burnt it. I've never burnt a book in my life, and I nearly burnt the thing. I was so frustrated.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, this isn't a mind map, but it is.
So I haven't actually done a dissertation. So like you, Jen, with nursing, it's changed in England recently. So there was a diploma or the degree that you could take. And I didn't think I could write a dissertation. So I went straight for the diploma. And now I'm building myself up to a degree level. So I will do a dissertation soon. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've got one more module.
I always found writing stuff like that. It's one of the reasons why when I make YouTube videos, even my pre-recorded stuff, I rarely write a script, because A, it's highly obvious that I'm reading it because I'm struggling to read it.
Yeah.
And B, I just find it so hard. It takes me so much longer to write the script. Even if I have to go and research something that I'm talking about beforehand, I still find it easier to ad-lib it. I know it comes across that I've ad-libbed it, but I think it still comes across better than me reading it.
Yeah. I do have to say, Donna, just to prepare you, every teacher you have when you go to do a dissertation will tell you, plan it, structure it, plan it in depth. Ignore them. Your dyslexia will not like it.
I've got to be honest, for essays, I just write, and then I write it all out, and I want to say what I want to say, and then I go back and I sort myself out.
Yeah, fix it.
Oh yeah, that's always fun, isn't it?
Carry on. So
when you find that you've written something and then your very next paragraph is basically the paragraph you wrote before because you lost track of what you were talking about.
Copy, paste, copy, delete. Word processors, they're brilliant. Save so much paper.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh, I'll add to that. My writing is chicken scratching, so I've been able to. When I'm writing really fast, my writing mixed with my dyslexia is so bad that I sometimes can't read what I've written.
Oh God!
Can you ever read something you've written?
Can I ever?
Ever. I have to write with a fountain pen to be able to write and not like tear the page.
Oh.
And then when I do write with a fountain pen, obviously left-handed, ink goes everywhere, and a lot of ink because it's a wet fountain pen, and yeah, there's no point in me taking notes. But if I don't take notes, I won't remember a damn thing I've said, so.
Dictaphone.
I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, yeah.
But even then, I mean, if I'm listening to something like that, I mean, I've got a pretty good memory for things like that. Like if I'm watching something or listening to it, I will generally remember what it is that I've been through. So, and I'm pretty good at remembering things that I've read after I've read them 4 or 5 times to actually figure out what it was I was reading. So I've got a pretty good memory for things like that. I think I think me developing a memory like that was in response to being dyslexic, and I can't imagine how you cope at all, Becca, because you don't have that ability to remember your stuff that well.
Well, what I do is, like, from other streams and things, I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with the Harry Potter series. Like, it got me young, and it was the series. I was always a big reader.
Yeah.
This is what no one ever understood. I was always a big reader. I was reading, like, R.L. Stein, the Goosebumps, all those other kids' books at an age 2 or 3 years younger than they were aimed at. And I adored reading, always did. But I started reading really late. I've got actual memories of learning to read, because I didn't start reading before my memory started forming.
Yeah,
But
I'd be the same.
yeah.
I remember learning to read. Yeah.
But once I got it, that was it. I was done. I was just hooked for life.
Oh, same.
But I remember the first time, it would have been Order of the Phoenix. It came out. My parents won't let me start reading it at midnight because my parents were responsible parents. And I had, they wouldn't let me start reading it. Got up early the next morning, started reading it. And I got about a third of the way through it. And my mum said, come down for breakfast. And I'm sat at the breakfast table, and my dad's like, you started reading it, haven't you? I was like, yeah. It was like, you were up early reading it, weren't you? I was like, yeah. It was like, what happened on page 187? Because he already knew I've read like 300 pages. This is how this goes. And I looked at him and I went, Dad, that's not how reading works. And he went, yeah, it is. That's what I do. And I was like, yeah, but you're you. I could give you an outline of what.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what was written on what page.
I couldn't. No,
I struggle to remember the names of people too that are in things. So like when we were talking about Harry Potter the other night, I couldn't remember what remember what Draco Malfoy's name was.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why does my head do that?
I'm crappy with names.
Yeah, crappy with names.
The one thing about Draco Malfoy, though, just to go off topic a tiny bit, ever since I saw, did you ever see that? I think it was a BuzzFeed article about someone who'd never seen Harry Potter was live tweeting watching it. And I do have to say that ever since reading that article, Draco in my mind is the mean little blonde lesbian. That's it. That just stuck in my head because I found it funny.
Oh, wow.
If I find something funny, I never forget it.
The mean little blonde.
Like that. If I read it and it's funny, I won't remember it.
I've got a side note. I was super impressed yesterday with your Harry Potter stream. Like, you guys
so much fun.
I was just like, what? I need to scrub up.
If anyone hasn't actually watched that in the chat now, or if you're watching this later, go to Wondering's channel and check out our stream from last night on Harry Potter. It was supposed to be a debate, but because Jay wasn't feeling well, we didn't do the debate. And what we did was we discussed Harry Potter in terms of Dungeons and Dragons.
I loved it.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
But I was way out of my depth. So I'm glad I'm on this stream.
See, I was out of my depth with the D&D stuff. I know very little about D&D.
Yeah, me neither.
Out for me. But I know just enough that I hope I didn't sound too thick.
No, you did well.
So I'm quite good at... That's one thing I am good at, and I do think it's the dyslexia. I'm very good at A, filling silences with empty talk that people think sounds clever, and B, just totally bullshitting my way through when I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I think that's a skill we all have to learn.
Oh yeah.
We'll get very good. I think all of us get very good at grabbing hold of the handful of knowledge we have on a topic and making it seem like we know a lot more than we do.
Because I will go to say something and go, shit, what was I about to say? And then I've just got to come up with something on the fly. Totally different to what I was actually going to say. So I have to be... They should pay me for this. Like, I would be such a brilliant comedian. I'd never script it. Every show would be different. Every live show would be different, you know. There'd be a lot of swearing though, so 18 plus only, because it's me.
It sounds like my streams.
Yeah. Well, we all know about you. Damn it, Jen.
Yep, that's me.
That's Jen's hashtag official. Damn it, Jen.
Yeah, screw Jay. So
I can't remember what mine was. I think it was hissy fit.
yeah, hissy fitting. Hissy
I
fit.
do that sometimes.
Well, shall we pop up the stats on dyslexia and we'll go through them and have a talk about them? Oh, well, yeah, when I find it on OBS, I will pop it up. Text pop up. I think that'll be it. Yes, there we go. I got the right thing.
Yeah, first time.
That's amazing, hey. But everybody knows I don't know what I'm doing because they can hear me. All right. The article's called 5 Steps for Identifying dyslexia in your child. Notice how I put the "your" in the wrong spot in the sentence. It's lovely dyslexia. 70 to 80% of people with poor reading skills are likely to be dyslexic.
I mean, yeah, but also there's a lot of other issues involved. I live on a council estate. Most of the people I know are illiterate because they're illiterate, not because they're dyslexic.
Bad education.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is particularly related to Utah in the US, so it's their stats and stuff. But I mean, most of it can be extrapolated out to the rest of the world. This is probably a overstatement for some other areas because it just depends on the education available in an area and how much poverty there is as well.
Yeah.
I live in one of the poorest areas of the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, quality of education certainly makes probably a bigger difference in the number of people who are dyslexic, but there's probably a good chance that at least 50% of the people who are have poor reading skills have some form of dyslexia, whether it be mild or to a more severe degree.
Yeah. I never really knew you could get it so mildly. So my dad was so extreme, and obviously I didn't find out till I was 18. So yeah, I would say lots of people just muddle their way through.
That they don't even realize they're dyslexic. They're like, I mean, we didn't before we found out. We're like, yeah, okay, I'm struggling, but obviously this is like this for everybody else. I mean, that's exactly how you think.
Yeah, you just it's what it is.
Yeah. All right, shall we pop up the next one, which is 1 in 5 students, or 15 to 20% of the population, has a language-based learning disability. Dyslexia is the most common of the language-based learning disabilities. I would say that's probably fairly accurate.
Yeah, I would say as well. The words come straight out my head. Not dyslexia, the other one I've got, dyspraxia.
Dyspraxia, yeah.
That has a language component to it.
And quite often they go together. A lot of people with dyslexia have dyspraxia as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, but...
No, me neither.
I do. And it's...
Yeah.
I get
so 1 in 3, there you go, we've got stats.
Yeah. Yeah. Guys, I'm just going to have to jump off a minute. I can hear my baby. So I'll just mute for a sec.
Just mute, yeah. All right, shall we go on to the next one? And my dog's going to bark. That's beautiful, isn't it? All right. Nearly the same percentage of men and women both have dyslexia. Dyspraxia's got in my head now.
Yeah, it gets in your head, doesn't it?
Dyslexia. Which, it used to be thought that more men than women had it. But that's not actually true. It was less. It was more a case of less women were actually being discovered with it. That they weren't coming forward as or being as picked up as often by the teachers for having a learning difficulty as the guys were.
Yeah, they weren't testing girls because it was just assumed that girls were either, it's one of those, because of the impact it has on you, you kind of assume that you will be that child who misbehaves in class.
Yeah.
Girls from a young age are socialised to sit down, shut up and do as you're told.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was missed from a behavioural standpoint. At least that's my understanding.
And they were also more worried about the boys not having those skills because sexism is a thing.
Yeah, because boys are going to go out and be the breadwinner and girls are going to stay home and knit and sew.
And that attitude, even though other attitudes of sexism have slowly changed, that attitude in young education is only something that's newly changed in the last 20 years. So
Well, it hadn't changed 20 years ago when I was in young.
No, but it started to change about then. So, I mean, young girls coming through now are more likely to get picked up, and that's why they now know that it's a 50-50 split. There's not more guys than girls who have it. So,
no, I remember my teachers were surprised I knew what a spanner was or what a screwdriver was, because girls shouldn't know that. How do you know that?
yeah.
Like my dad's
Isn't
an
spanner an
electrician and owns a
insult in
car.
England?
Yeah.
It is, but when I say a spanner, I mean an actual.
Yeah, I know you mean an actual spanner.
Like I could point to a spanner, a screwdriver, and an Allen key and tell you what the three things were.
Ola has put so many good things in the chat. I'm not going to try and read them all. I'm sorry, Ola. I'm going to struggle to read them from where I'm sitting. But anyone who's watching the stream, it's both in the side chat and it's on the display. So follow through on what Ola's putting in, because she has a lot of experience with this too. And had I realised that, I probably would have asked her to be part of the stream.
Yeah. Also, I would say Grammarly is good, but make sure you set it to your own English, and it only has English, and American English.
Yeah.
And it does not spot simple errors, so always combine it with your word processor spell check. And Hemingway is very good on the website as well. Just copy and paste your stuff into Hemingway. See what level you're writing at.
Alright, the next one was nearly the same percentage of people from different ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds have dyslexia, and I'm really proud of myself for being able to do socioeconomic.
Well done. Try and spell it though.
Not without looking at it, I can't. I'm not even going to try. Yeah, the same again. I mean, it's obviously it goes across all socioeconomic backgrounds. Yeah, the word just went away somewhere else. Then.
Can I ask? Am I the only one? When I was a kid, the only people who had an actual diagnosis for dyslexia or dyspraxia were the rich kids.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That was where the bigotry is from. The socioeconomic was because rich kids could afford to get the diagnosis. Yeah. Or they had the parents who would actually go and see specialists to help out. I realise you've got the NHS in the UK, but you are better off still if you're rich.
Mm-mm.
The NHS doesn't cover testing kids.
No. Yeah.
So
you have to pay.
Or it didn't when I was a kid.
No, it didn't when I was.
There was always this attitude, especially in my schools, primary and secondary, where it's not dyslexia, it's rich parents making excuses for their thick kids. There was that kind of attitude going about a little bit.
It's just hard because being rich doesn't, take away the fact
I met some really thick as two short planks rich kids who had a dyslexia diagnosis, but they weren't thick because they had dyslexia. They were thick because they didn't pay attention and they they didn't care. It's like they got the diagnosis and it was an excuse to just do nothing. Be spoon-fed it. Whereas I think I did the opposite as an adult. I got the diagnosis and I was like, I want all the information.
That's the hard thing though. I mean, like I was identified in high school, so late 80s, so that's a long time ago. But my dad was a teacher, so he noticed the problems and they were in a position to go, oh, what's going on? So I was lucky in that. Also, there was a couple of other people in my year group who also had dyslexia. One of them ended up with the glasses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but I believe that the glasses actually only work for about 30% of people.
Yeah, it's Erling syndrome. It's not. You can have Erling syndrome and dyslexia, but you can have dyslexia without Erling syndrome.
Yeah.
I have to wear the glasses when I'm tired, or when I'm writing a long document, or I use an overlay, which basically does the same thing but saves me looking like a beetle.
See, that'd be no use to me because I have to wear glasses anyway.
You can get your prescription.
Yes, I know you can, but it's really expensive to do that, and I don't think it's justified for me.
Amazon do a pack of dyslexia overlays with all 6 options of the colours in it for about £9 in the UK.
I've never actually tried using them, so I don't know if they work for me. So
give it a go, because I find sort of green and grey pin the words down for me when I'm tired. It does help.
Yeah.
I might do that because
at uni we got given a thing that goes across I got given a yellow thing that goes across my computer screen. So I can just stick it on rather than glasses, and I use yellow paper. It's yellow for me.
For me, yeah, it's green or grey for me.
Yeah, I haven't, like I said, I haven't tried, so I don't actually know. And that needs to be on because I am so hot here. I'm hot.
It's freezing here.
All right, shall we move on to the next one, which was we did socioeconomic percentages of children at risk for reading failure are much higher in high poverty language minority populations who attend ineffective schools. Well, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
That's got nothing to do with dyslexia. That's just a socioeconomic issue.
Yeah, and they're not even talking about dyslexia there. They actually just say percentage of children at risk for reading failure. Well, reading failure isn't dyslexia.
No.
That's any of the possible different issues that can cause issues with learning to read. And as we already said before, socioeconomic is probably a bigger pressure on that than dyslexia is.
Yeah, also, definitely. Just putting it out there, the only reason all the jokes about dyslexia are funny is because they're completely inaccurate. Just FYI, guys.
Yeah.
Although I do love calling it Lysdexia. So.
Which bright spark made the word dyslexia so hard to spell?
I know. I was when I made the thumbnail for this video, because I got out the Scrabble board. I love playing Scrabble, but it messes with my head. I sat down there and I had to go through all the tiles and find the fucking right letters to spell dyslexia, and it was so hard to do. And I'm like, have I actually spelt it right? I actually put a C in it when I first put it on the board. I have no idea why.
You should have taken that picture and used it as the thumbnail.
Oh, it would have been awesome. And you notice I've got the E in it back to front, which I did. And I realized that after I took the photo, I go, oh, screw it, it looks right. So yeah, I just left it like that. And yeah, I just took the photo like that. But I think it looks really good. But yeah, it was just really funny. So I ended up having to grab hold of Google, type in dyslexia to make sure I spelled it right.
Anyone else's phone predictive text learn your misspellings though, and then do them automatically for you?
Oh yes, I've had that happen a couple of times. It's why I often mistype the as TGE for some reason. It's partly typo, partly my dyslexia dealing with the keyboard on the phone.
Or that, but an S instead of an A.
Oh yeah, I'll do that too.
That's or whatever.
Yeah, it's not just me being clumsy fingers on the keyboard. It's my brain actually going for the wrong key, which is really freaking annoying. So the most common one that's a result of my dyslexia is when I type TGE instead of the. And it annoys the hell out of me every time I do it. And you'd think it's like, oh, why don't you edit it before you notice it? Because I will look at that and think I've actually done everything right.
I know.
And it's only once I press send on the tweet, I look at it and go, damn, now the world knows I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's afterwards I go, oh crap, no. Why did that have to happen?
Because I'm a nurse, I used to work in A&E. Loads of people come in with diarrhea and vomiting, right?
Yeah.
Cannot spell diarrhea, cannot spell vomiting. Like, is there 2 M's? Is there 2 T's? Is there both? I don't know. I can't. I used to do it wrong all the time.
Oh, the best one is I knew at 11 years old that a career in medicine wasn't for me. Because in my year 6 SAT, I couldn't spell the word disease. And I still can't spell it to this day. Also, whoever wrote the word restaurant, again, I will find you.
Yeah.
And who came up with the freaking stupid I before E except after C and then made it different on every single word? And my brain, don't do that.
My cousin is not a cushion. My cushion is not my cousin.
And then words that mean the same. Well, sorry, not words that mean the same. Words that are spelt the same but have different pronunciations and meanings. I'm like, no, don't make it even harder on me.
Yeah.
Do you ever deliberately talk around a word or write around a word because you don't trust yourself to
Yeah.
say it?
Yeah.
I did it all the time. In my medical notes, I'm like, I don't know how to spell that word.
Yeah,
So I'm
and
going to
then,
describe
like,
it.
I had to try and learn ancient Greek for my masters.
Oh my
I tried to look
gosh.
at it, and my dyslexia just went, nope, too spiky.
Yeah. Can't do it.
Not
For
doing
the
it.
record, when I read that last one about percentage of children at risk, because I had to try and reread those first few, I ended up, you guys can't, well, you guys can see me, but the chat can't see me. I had to put my finger up on the screen so I could keep track of what word I was at.
Oh yeah, I do that. It's like, you know the joke, you'll know, Donna, the joke about sun readers. That's not sun readers, that's people who are dyslexic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what a rag.
Yeah, what a rag.
Don't read the Sun, people.
No, don't read it. Don't read it. Don't
Ever.
read the Mail either.
No, they hate the NHS, and everything's going to give you cancer in the Daily Mail, so don't.
Yeah,
isn't that
I
just
thought
a
Princess
junk
Diana
paper,
gave you
the
cancer.
Daily Mail,
No, that's
the
the
Daily
Express.
Fail?
Oh,
and the
so
Daily Fail and the Scum, yeah. No,
so much crap.
But isn't the
The
BBC just becoming the Daily Mail on television now for you guys?
A lot of the
It's
time.
dreadful.
Don't get me started. You know Rupert Murdoch's put in a bid to take over the BBC?
Oh,
No,
wow,
but-
it'll get even worse.
Give me my TV license. I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, because so few people are paying for the TV license now. They're
Yeah.
actually just...
Is there,
'Cause it's
is there any man who could do more for humanity by just dying than Rupert Murdoch?
Oh, I
Piers
know.
Morgan. Boris Johnson, Donald Trump. I have a list. Would you like it?
You've got to hit this. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'm not actually a psychopath, folks. I'm not actually going to go out and kill anyone. Mainly
No,
because
me
I'm too
neither.
lazy and too uncoordinated. But
I just wish some of them weren't here.
this is why I'm a writer. I can kill them all in fiction and they'll never know.
Unless I read it.
Nah, because it's different names, different descriptions, but in my head I know it's them.
That's one of the benefits of being dyslexic.
Oh, dear. The choice.
All right, so the next one was, and I'm now struggling to remember what the last one was. I read.
Something. It was the one that was nothing to do with dyslexia.
Oh yeah. In minority and high poverty schools, 70-80% of children have inadequate reading skills, which is basically the point that they made before, and it's not about dyslexia anyway.
I wonder if the person who wrote the list is dyslexic.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe they forgot.
I don't know, but it's quite funny. But I mean, some of it's good, but a lot of it's quite funny. I obviously didn't read through it properly before doing this because that was like going to be a task.
The next one as well is completely irrelevant.
Oh, you've got it up, have you? Do you want to read it?
I'll try. According to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, 38% of all 4th grade students are below basic reading skills. And it's gone off my screen. So I didn't see the
They are at or below the 40th percentile for their age group.
Yeah. So, again, what's that got to do with dyslexia?
Yeah, yeah.
I
mean, basically, they're saying 5 steps for identifying dyslexia in your child, but they're just talking about identifying that your child has a reading or writing problem, which isn't necessarily dyslexia. I mean, good on you for identifying your child has a problem. That's the first step. Then you actually have to identify what the problem is.
Yeah.
And just saying it's dyslexia if it isn't is just
honestly, this list so
I think.
far, it's like they're pointing at a house that's on fire and going, oh, look, there's a problem there, but I don't know what it is. That's what's going on that list right now.
It is. It
Sorry.
basically is.
I'm slamming it after you've done the research of finding it, but...
Oh, no, it wasn't a lot of research. I wanted a list that we could go through and either tear it apart or say, yes, this is good, because I think this is a good way to respond to something like this. Because there's as much misinformation as there is good information about dyslexia. And it's one of those things where I think, even when they've discovered that that a child or an adult has dyslexia, most of us end up still suffering on our own with it. There isn't the support for people who have dyslexia. There's
definitely not support for adults.
There's no real support groups. I mean, we're more or less having our own little one here, but
why not? I've got to be honest, I had a really good experience at uni. Whilst at uni, obviously. Initially, when I got diagnosed, they gave out loads and loads of programs, gave me a laptop, gave me loads of stuff. And I had a tutor, the hours were like to once a week. So I had an hour a week with a tutor, which was awesome. When I went back this time, oh my gosh. So they wanted so when I was there full time, great. Part time, don't really want to know.
Yeah,
you go, sorry.
No, sorry, very similar. Sorry to interrupt, but
no, sorry.
That's another thing I do with the dyslexia. If I don't say what I'm thinking straight away, it will go. So
yeah, me
I
too.
Interrupt people. But I'm the same way. With at uni, they gave me the laptop. I'm still using the laptop they gave me. That's what I'm talking to you on. And they gave me all the programs and everything. But then it was just like, now shoot. You know, sort of, we've given you it, now shoot, off you go. And it was like, okay, but help?
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, well, you can have a proofreader for your essays. If you don't book the proofreader 2 months in advance, you ain't getting that proofreader. The essay questions don't get released till a month before they're due. And, you know, how am I supposed to produce an essay in like 2 days so I can get it proofread?
Yeah, my tutor just wanted me to fire off emails so she could look at it and she'd like correct my grammar, and that would be about it.
Yeah, all she did was correct my grammar, and then
spellings, obviously.
Then I had it on my IEP that actually just ignore any spelling and grammar issues because mark positively. So basically, it was a waste of my time going to the proofreader.
And like, what's the point in that anyway? Why is that a good extra step? Go to a proofreader, because
it's not helping.
It's not helping you. You're not going to get any better because of that, and people are going to have to deal with how your dyslexia affects your grammar in the real world. So it's kind of crazy, and that thought wasn't coherent.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though.
I know you know what I mean, but it wasn't coherent.
A proofreader is a crutch that I should eventually be able to put away because I've learned to walk without it. Not something that I'm relying on constantly.
Yeah.
And, you know...
And for somebody who's dyslexic, it becomes a crutch.
Yeah.
It does, because how do we ever get rid of that? I mean, there is no way to... Even if you have the glasses to help pin the words down, you still got the problem of the thoughts in your head when you're trying to construct sentences and you're trying to spell and things like that. That's not just about how the words move around on the paper.
Yeah.
Also, can I just, as a dyslexic, words don't just go firing off in all directions for me. That's not what dyslexia does. So these pictures that you see, or these things where it looks like peripheral vision and someone's had fun with the special effects button, that's not what it looks like.
No.
Get a paragraph of Ipsum Mori, drop it into your word processor, select it all, and then go to your font and just run your mouse up and down. And you see how the words change and cycle up and down? That's what my dyslexia looks like to me. It's nothing. The words don't go. What's happening is they're jumping up and down. They're not wandering off to the other end of the page. That's what's happening.
They don't swap around. It's really they actually just become very hard to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine kind of merge when I'm reading for too long.
Yeah, that's what mine do, Donna. That's exactly the same, which is why I struggle to.
Yeah. So like everything's one massive word, and you're like, oh crap.
And I find that because they merge, my eyes run ahead of where I am, and that's where I end up with putting words in the wrong spots in sentences because I've missed that. I've actually missed over some words, and then my brain goes, "But you missed that," and then you go back, and at that point, you've put the word in the wrong spot.
Yeah, and then when I'm writing, I'll miss out words like the and a because my thoughts are going so quickly. I'm like, crap, I've got to put this down. And then I go back and I'm like, shit, that makes no sense. I go back and put all the words in.
Speech to text is a lifesaver for that, but it's just not fast enough for me. I talk too fast for it.
No.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, I don't really use many programs on the computer for my writing anymore because I had one where I could talk my essays and then it was too colloquial because I was, is that how you pronounce that word?
Colloquial?
That's it, you
Yeah.
got it. But yeah, so I was basically talking, you know, I'd put a shit in there and a crap in there and, you know, when you're talking normally, someone would talk to me, I'd continue using it and it was too much editing and stuff. It didn't particularly help me at all.
No, but I did learn though that if I write my essays like I talk, minus the swear words and the contractions, actually I end up getting better grades because I know what I'm talking about and I'm not trying to talk like a upper class prick.
Yeah.
Like, speak like a normal human being. I can't stand academic essays for that. It drives me crazy.
Me too.
I will write my essay the way I speak to you. If you don't like it, jog on.
Yeah,
you know, like,
that's
I can't do with. I've got an old Facebook post that appears to me every year, as it does, when I was writing my undergrad dissertation, and I just put on Facebook, I put, can anyone think of an essay appropriate synonym for the word clusterfuck? I'm struggling.
I love that.
And that's literally what my brain does. I go, I need this word, but I can't put that word in an essay. What's the other word? Oh, let me Google it.
Yeah, I literally use an online thesaurus and stuff. I'm like, because otherwise I can't. Yeah, the words that I use regularly sometimes are not appropriate.
Word hippo. Word hippo was fantastic.
But what is wrong with using a profanity? Profanities are very, very handy words.
Oh, I know. Who knows?
And
I can't stop myself in lectures. I do because I can't stop myself. It's the way that I talk. So like, people laugh, but I am what I am. I can't help it.
It's like, so, I think, did I tell this story? I have an old aunt who is very proper.
Oh.
Hyacinth Bucket, you know. Like,
me too. I've got a great one like that.
It's Hyacinth Bouquet.
Bouquet, darling.
Bucket. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that joke. I'm gonna run with that. But she literally came onto my Facebook when I was about 19.
Oh God.
And told me off for swearing. And
love it.
It was like that Dave Allen. Have you ever seen the Dave Allen comedy thing where he swore once in an episode? They complained, so the next episode he swore about 300 times in 30 minutes.
Oh wow!
Sounds like my
I have seen that though.
Yeah, it was like that, and she was saying it's not ladylike to swear.
Yeah,
and honestly, my response: I've never used the word "fuck" so often in my life.
When people say that, I just say, I've never claimed to be a lady. I've never claimed to be a lady.
I'm not a lady, I'm a woman, but I'm not a lady.
Exactly. That's exactly.
I'm a well-educated, eloquent woman who says fuck a lot. And then she came at me, she was like, I'm going to tell your mother. I was like, off you fuck. Go on then, off you fuck.
What's your mum going to do?
I was like, I'm away at uni, my mum knows what I'm doing. I ring my mum after a night out to tell her about the people who've hit on me and what I've been up to. And how much I've had to drink. She likes to know I got home safe and listen to me when I'm pissed because I ramble. And she loves it. Because she never went to uni, so she gets to share the experience.
Yeah, why not?
And I was just like, off you fuck. Go on then. What's the worst you can do?
People are funny.
All the saying here. I find I find people's perception of rude when it comes to explanatives a little confusing. You're offended by me saying fuck, but you can't be polite enough to say excuse me.
Yeah, so true. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Ever got a tube in London? You know people don't know how to say excuse me.
Oh God.
You just get, I'm 5'1", I get launched into tubes.
I'm See, I've been down to London a few times, and I had a guy, you get the fair dodgers once in a while, who'd come up behind you and push you through the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the guy, and I felt him grab it, and I swung, and I elbowed him so hard.
Good.
He pushed me through the barrier, and he ran off.
Mm.
I must have elbowed him pretty hard, because I managed to get to the ticket guard, tell them who he was, point to him, and they caught him, because he was
slowed him right down.
double.
Winded.
And I was just like, I'll take
I love
that.
it.
Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah, and I'm not small, so I take up space, and if you don't like it,
I just freaking wait.
Alright,
I always think to myself, why didn't you leave earlier? Just leave earlier. Like,
it's like I used to ride a motorbike, scooter.
Oh yes.
And the number of car drivers, like, nowhere you are going is so important that you should be willing to risk the life of another human being to get there. Like, the only people who have the right to get that close to me and go past me that fast are ambulances or police or fire. You are none of those things. Wait your fucking turn.
You're not allowed to do that here. If somebody's riding a push bike or a
we'd both be at the red lights.
or a
Technically, it's
motorbike, you
illegal.
have to pass them. You have to give a meter of distance
Oh, wow.
between you
Yeah,
and
no,
the.
you're supposed to in the UK, but they don't.
no.
Okay,
The
well,
number of times I've had cars blast past me and so close I could reach out and touch the car. And you know, I'm a little short, so my arms are only about 1.5 feet long.
I've got to be honest, I'm too scared I'm going to hit someone. So I'm like this. I leave a massive gap.
yeah.
I'm the opposite. Like, on a bike, I'm terrified of being in a car because I can't, my depth perception is just whacked.
Really?
I sit in a car and I think the car's as wide as I am, which is why motorbikes work for me, because
Alright.
I
Yeah.
know how wide the
Stay on
Okay,
the
so
motorbike.
depth
Cars.
perception leads me to something else. Becca, and Donna. I suffer from night blindness. As in, I can't. It's not safe for me to drive a car at night because my eyes get overly saturated by oncoming lights or the street lights. So I actually find it really hard to see properly.
I do struggle, and I find it really difficult to focus when I've got all different lights all over the shop.
Yeah.
I can manage, and I can ride in the dark.
Yeah,
or
I mean, I
keep
can do it, but I don't like doing it because I think
can't
it's
stand
dangerous.
Yeah,
or what
I'm
I
not a
used
fan.
to do, especially.
So I'm
winter
wondering
when
if
I was
that's
riding.
actually a related thing to our dyslexia.
It might
I
be.
don't know, yeah.
Like Irving syndrome.
I mean, that's probably clutching at straws there, but it was just an interesting thing when you
Maybe
said
we're
about
just really
the
similar.
depth perception. Yeah.
I mean,
But
it's
yeah,
a
no.
perception thing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
probably processing issue.
Yeah, a
You're not
processing
processing
issue.
that these lights aren't completely flooding your field of vision.
Yeah, well, because they kind of move, and that
Yeah.
in the sort of the same concept that we have with looking at words, that it makes it really hard because they overtake my vision.
Yeah, I kind of get drawn into the lights.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to really focus. I'm kind of like
Yeah.
this in the car. Look,
I
don't
think
look.
that's one of the problems because the more we try to physically focus on something, the harder it actually is to focus on it. I don't know if you guys find that as well, but if I'm trying to really, really concentrate on something because I'm struggling with it, I'm actually better off putting down what I'm doing and buggering off for a while and coming back to it later. Because that trying to concentrate that hard on it actually makes it worse.
Yeah, I've only got like a 2-hour window for studying, and then my brain is done.
Yeah.
So I have to. So I start essays. We're going to do essays. I start them really, really early as soon as they're set, and then I slowly read, and then 2 hours at a computer at a time, and I'm done.
See, I'm
My
the
brain can't do
opposite.
it.
I work in massive. I binge work.
Dude.
So I'll do like. I will literally sit down at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and work until 2 o'clock the following morning. But then I won't look at it for a week because I'm just mentally exhausted.
Yeah. See, I just can't. My brain doesn't work like that.
No, my brain, I'm very... For a while I thought I may be like ADHD or something because I hyper focus on stuff and then can't look at it again for ages. And it's really... And I have no control over when I do this. It would be great if I had the self-control to go, no, I'm going to sit down and do 6 hours work on this. Nope. Nope.
Shall we try for the next thing on the list, which also I don't think is about dyslexia?
We can see.
Nationwide, 20% of elementary school population is struggling with reading.
Yeah, they're elementary school. What do you expect?
Yeah. And the one after that is National Centre for Education Statistics. 5% of all adults are non-literate. So again, nothing to do with dyslexia.
That's
25 to 20%. 20 to 25% of all adults can only read at the lowest level. Again, not really dyslexia. 62% of non-readers dropped out of high school. Again,
no shit.
That's got to.
You're not going to graduate if you can't read. How?
80% of children with an IEP have a reading difficulty, and 85% of those are dyslexic. Finally,
finally,
a figure.
Hey.
Also, please stop saying children. It's not children, it's people. We don't grow out of this. It's like dyspraxia was once known as clumsy child syndrome, not something we grow out of.
Mm-hmm.
If I am dyslexic, I will be dyslexic till the day I die. I am not going to hit a magical age and suddenly all this disappears.
If only.
Well, I wish.
Yeah.
That was the same thing with what they used to call childhood asthma, where they'd say, "Oh, you've got asthma as a kid, but you're going to grow out of it." Well, that's not true. You might actually be better managing. Oh crap! Managing. You might have better management. Okay, I'll rephrase the sentence because it's not going to work no matter what I do. You might have better management of your condition as you get older because you're older and better able to deal with it. But you still never get rid of that.
Yeah, and some people get worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people develop asthma and they can't get over that. Like, it's so dumb.
And even if your asthma does get a little bit better, it's still not gone. It's still there.
No.
I mean, believe it or not, smoking makes my asthma better. Like, I quit smoking and my asthma gets worse.
As a healthcare professional, I'm not going to endorse that.
No, I'm not endorsing it as a treatment. I'm just saying, for me personally, if I'm not smoking, I have more asthma attacks than if I am.
Yeah. Everyone's so different.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Try telling my doctor that though. My doctor just looks at me and says no.
Give up.
I know.
I don't live my life.
Doctors are asses about cigarettes.
And we have one more.
I just think they know everything.
30% of children with dyslexia also have at least a mild form of ADHD. Yeah, I think that's probably a case of correlation is not causation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it's taking me, if it takes you, do we all know the spoon theory?
Nope.
So the spoon theory is how much mental capacity you have for doing things in a day. So you say you have 10 spoons to last you today, and everything is, cost you part of a spoon or a spoon.
Yeah.
If it takes you 1 spoon to sit in an English class as a neuronormative person, it might take me 3.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I have ADHD. That means I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. At uni, we'd had to do, in nursing, obviously, you have the practical side when you're in hospital, and then you have the side when you're at uni.
Yeah.
Uni would kill me. I'd do a 12-hour shift over a day at uni any day. It was so intense, and it used to just kill me. I used to find it so, so difficult.
The number of times I'd be sat in lectures, and I would just give up and put my head on my desk and go to sleep because I physically couldn't do anymore. And the tutors would always look at me and go, "You're hungover, you drunk, you're hungover." No, I'm just exhausted. I'm sorry, but I'm just exhausted.
Yeah,
and you can see it because I used to take notes. They start out relatively neat, and then I'm scrolling, and then they just stop.
Yeah.
And you can see the progress of my exhaustion through the lecture.
Yeah, totally get it.
Yeah.
So for me, I used to, if it was an engaging lecture, if we were talking, I'd be fine. When it was people with PowerPoints, and obviously nursing is quite practical, so practical stuff, loved all of that stuff. But if we sat in front of a PowerPoint, I was just like, dude, why am I here? This PowerPoint's on the Student Central. I was like, I could just read this at home. Why am I here?
Emailed this to me. Why am I here?
Yeah.
I was a history undergrad. I had 3 years of PowerPoints.
Oh.
Very little discussion in lectures.
I'm being hauled over the coals for my asthma thing in the chat. Yes, theological introspection. I'm not saying there aren't cases where people grow out of their asthma. But in most cases, if it is, as Orla has said later on, there are other lung conditions that means you have to need a ventilator, and they can produce similar conditions to asthma. If most people who have asthma because of a problem with the ventricles. No, ventricles are heart. The sac things within the lungs that absorb the
alveoli.
Alveoli, yes, thank you. I don't know why my brain couldn't do that. And that's not something that generally repairs. I mean, your lungs, like in Orla's case where she's talking about her son being yeah, thanks. Premature, thank you. Yes, you can have later development of the lungs, and you can have a case of as you grow older, you have less issues with it because your lungs have gotten bigger as you've got bigger. But if you still did a lung capacity test, it would be lower than normal. It's just as you get older, that amount that you're lower than normal is less of a problem because you're now bigger and have bigger lungs. You can also train yourself to be better by increasing your lung capacity through exercise or doing other things that need larger lung capacity, like blowing a brass or woodwind instrument. Learning to play an instrument can improve your lung capacity and make that better as well. So yes, there are certainly ways to alleviate it. There's definitely people who don't need the medication as they get older, but it goes around two ways. Like, I was a childhood asthmatic. I mostly grew out of it, had no problems up until I turned about 35, and then started having problems again because I've gotten older and I started having more issues again. So whilst I still rarely have to use any preventer, puffer, if I've got a cold or something like that, I will, because then of course I'm being limited in my lung intake capacity because of the cold. So
so you're just more susceptible to your colds being worse and affecting your lungs more than they would anyone else. It's not that you'd necessarily still have, or you'd have like horrific asthma as you got older.
You're just more prone to that condition still, because it never completely leaves you. You can get to a point where you never need medication pretty much, unless of course you're really sick. But the underlying condition is still there, and that's what makes that more of a problem for you, because you have had asthma or however it was.
I just want to interrupt. Orla, thank you. I've been looking for a word to describe that set of symptoms for years, and you've just put it in the chat: cognitive dysfunction.
Oh, that's a good word. Good set of words.
And I've just Googled it, and there's like definitions and lists of what it includes. And thank you so much, because I have been chasing this group of symptoms for years, had no idea how to explain it to other people. And the closest I've been able to explain it is a combination of like saying, well, I'm a bit like that autistic person, a bit like that person who's got ADHD. Like, I do that thing that those people do, but I never had a group word for it, and that's what this is. So thank you, because that's just sorry, I'm having a minor existential crisis right now, because actually you've given me a name for the thing that's...
You've learned something.
Yeah.
That's what we like.
It's just, wow. Yay for sharing information. Yeah, confusion.
Now you've just got to remember it, Becca.
Yeah, I'll write it down. I've Googled it already, so it'll be my search history. Loss of short-term or long-term memory, identity. Is anyone else face blind, or is it just me? I'm totally face blind. I will forget what someone looks like. And I will only remember specific bits of their identity.
Okay,
So,
if I've just met somebody and you ask me to explain what they look like in terms of their face, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I would remember that person if I saw them again.
Yeah.
I don't remember people. If I see them.
I'm better with faces than names.
I know that.
Yeah,
face, but I have no idea
names
who
are
that
my
is.
Achilles heel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm good with faces, but I can't put the face to the name. It's like there's a disconnect.
Oh well, that's from the other side with me though, because I'll look at the person and go, oh, I know this person. Crap.
Yeah.
And I'll go.
So many people have got used to me just being like, wait, I know you. Who are you again?
Yeah.
And I laugh it off, but it's frightening. Like, there are times I've literally walked past my own family in the street because I didn't recognise them.
Oh,
And
I
I've
haven't
looked at
done
them and
that.
gone, I know you, but you're a stranger. I don't need to stop and talk to you. Like, and they've gone ignorant, and I'm just like, no, I just didn't realise it was you.
So I've had people walk up to me and start talking to me, and I'll talk back because I'm polite. Not that anybody would know that from watching my videos, but I am polite. And they'll, in the middle of a conversation, goes, "You don't have any idea who I am, do you?" And I go, "No, I know you. I just have no idea what your name is."
Yeah, that's me all the time. And I just presume it's from work. I'm like, yeah, I know you from the hospital. And they'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, yeah. I have no idea what your name is.
Again, with the bullshitting your way through situations you have.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so bad. But you work with so many people. I could work with someone once and never work with them again. And they'll be like, hi, Donna. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm in a call centre of like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
On one floor. And it's just like, I look at someone and go, didn't I sit next to you once? Who are you?
Yeah, all the time.
But I remember specific aspects of what people look like. So there's a guy at work who's got a bright orange beard, like leprechaun beard. And he won't mind me saying that because he is actually Irish. But he shaved one day and I didn't recognise him. I didn't know who he was. Or another guy.
Although, to be fair, a lot of people look really different without their beards. I mean, even your hubby looks quite a bit different.
Yeah, even my husband. Yeah. But I just, but not even that, like people who I'm around every day. I sometimes look at myself in the mirror and don't recognise myself.
Wow.
Like, I look and I'll go, that's not me.
Oh,
I will watch this stream back and I'll go, is that me?
So that condition that we have, Donna, where we struggle to remember names of things and people, is called noun aphasia.
Oh,
I love this thing so difficult to say and spell. Seriously.
Yeah, I know, it's really annoying.
You think that's bad?
What's even worse is I knew what the word was, but my brain wouldn't make me say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I used to have to teach myself medical terms. Be like, what the fuck?
Write them out 10 times until it sticks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spell it wrong.
I do this all the time when I'm making a video. I'll be talking about something. I'll have said my bit that usually I'm doing off the top of my head, and I'll get to a word and I'll go, I know what this word is. I have no idea how to say it. So I'll have to stop what I'm recording, go to Google, search the word up and see if I can find a recording of somebody saying that word so I know.
Yeah, like colloquial.
Yeah.
However you say that word.
Yeah.
Oh, words I've always and always will have problems with, and I'm going to make an idiot of myself now. The little things in the ocean, the anemones.
Anemones.
That one.
Is it anemones? Oh God!
Yeah.
Now you've got me going. I don't know.
I do the same with the flowers, chrysanthemums.
Oh,
Yeah.
Again, I just put an extra syllable in there. It just goes.
Chrysanthemums. I can do that.
So
one.
anything that's got like that sort of weird, I don't know what it is, but I put an extra syllable in and it's irritating. Banana, yeah, banana.
Banana. Yeah, I used to do that all the time. I deliberately, I spent ages and ages deliberately stopping myself from doing that. Just because it was really embarrassing. If you banana, you want a what? Banana. Can I have a banana milkshake? You know, it's just really, really embarrassing. So
I sound like the Cookie Monster or something.
Or yeah, well, maybe you're doing that song from the Muppets, you know, banana. Banana.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be stuck in my head all day now. Oh, I get earworms really easily as well. It's just horrible.
Oh no, I don't forget my own name, Ola. I can remember who I am. I struggle to remember my age sometimes, as I proved last night.
Yeah, no, I do sometimes have to go and check Facebook to see how old I am.
Yeah. I think I'm still in this phase of like, if someone asks me, I'm like, I'm over 18. Because I think I'm buying booze, because no one thinks I'm over 18.
Oh, I don't have that problem anymore.
Most people. I'm like, actually, I'm over 10 years over 18.
Yeah, I haven't been ID'd since I was about 14.
Oh, see, it's the dot to dot on my face without makeup. They're like, oh, you're a 15-year-old. Still too many spots, girl. I'm like, well, it's just my life.
To be fair, I have that all here, but again, makeup, amazing.
Yeah, I know, right? Dribble spots.
I was like tonight. I didn't even bother putting makeup on, just a bit of lippy.
Yeah, well, you've got nice skin, Jen.
I don't really. It's not that great. Depends on you look. But I've got alopecia. You know, where you've got the different coloured skin tones. So yeah. So I occasionally, I don't always, because oh no, Ola, how dare you put a word like that in the...
Let me see.
Oh,
my tongue's stuck.
I'm doing enemies, but she put it in like a really long word, and it's no. But yeah, I often cover up my alopecia with makeup when I'm doing streams, but I just couldn't be bothered tonight. And I think most people have seen me not do it, so I think most people know I have it. So
I can't.
With the rapper, no.
That alopecia is a side effect of being intersex and having screwy hormones when I was a teenager.
Oh gosh.
So that's a good thing.
I don't.
Yeah, dyslexia too.
Like,
hooray!
I don't know. I think not recognising myself is more of a symptom of depression and anxiety, though. They tell me it's a symptom of that as well.
Oh, alopecia.
No, Ola's talking about dysphoria and not recognising yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's also a symptom of depression and anxiety, so I'm told, and like PTSD and stuff. So
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, well, there's lots of different types of dysphoria. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm perfectly happy in my, well, as happy as I can.
Well, dysphoria isn't necessarily... the dysphoria she's talking about then is if you can't remember your own name. And so that's a type of personal dysphoria, when you don't remember your own name. So, or you've just got dementia.
One of the two.
I mean, that's a possibility too. It runs in the family. So
I'd hope it wasn't that early onset. That would suck.
This is what concerns me. You would not spot the early signs of dementia in me because I've had them all my life.
Yeah.
Like, the number of times. Do you know what I did once? Once I was 2.5 hours work for late because I couldn't find my keys. Do you know where they were? In my fridge. I'd come in the night before, gone to my fridge to get a drink, and dropped my keys in my fridge. And close the door.
To be fair, for a long time. The fridge is not regular.
No, I spent 15 minutes the other day looking for my keys, and they were in my other hand.
Yeah, I do that. In my pocket.
Like, no, it wasn't in my pocket. I don't have my keys. They're not in my pocket. Shit. Run around looking for them. In my hand. In my left hand. Literally holding them.
Or do you ever do a thing, you know where something is because you put it there and you'll look at it and it's like your eyes slide over it like the Doctor Who.
Yeah, I think that's part of our dyslexia though.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah, because I do that all the time.
It's literally, it's like, you know the thing with Martha in Torchwood and the perception filter?
Yeah.
It's like, I know it's there, but I don't. These are not the droids you're looking for. I don't want to know. You know, it's like it's right there.
Yeah.
A number of times when I was younger, my mum would go, "Becca, get this." I go, "Where is it?" She goes, "It's in there."
Yeah. My 3-year-old son will correct me. I'm like, damn it.
Oh, I just
the joys.
The joys of dyslexia.
Yeah.
It's great
we laugh
fun.
and joke about it, but that's a coping mechanism as well because it's not funny.
No.
Oh no!
It's
I mean, it can be. I've had funny moments. When I was doing English literature in high school, we were doing a play called No Sugar. It's about Aboriginal communities, and there's a line in it where one of the characters, and I can't remember, I'd have to find the book, but one of the characters in it actually says a sentence incorrectly, mixes the words up in the sentence, and somebody else picks them up on that, and that's an integral part of that part of the story. Except I was the person reading the line that was supposed to be mixed up, and my dyslexia put it back the way it was supposed to be. I didn't even know I'd done it.
Autocorrect.
I did an autocorrect instead of mixing it up. I did an autocorrect, which was amazing. And of course, nobody realized I'd done that. Well, they didn't think it mattered. And then it got on to the next bit. And hang on, this didn't make any sense. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my life. This happens all the time.
The joys, honestly. Like I was telling you guys, I have to go like this when I walk onto a sports field because I'm like, where am I going? My friends literally look at me now and they're like, hey, you're over there, Donna. Because you've got, obviously it doesn't work on this, right? Does it work? Yeah.
And
Left
no,
and
both
right.
times you're looking at your
left
hand.
and right.
Yeah. Your left
the
and
other
your
way
right.
around, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can still do I write with this hand, so I know that's my right hand, and that's what I have to do, but I actually have to physically think about it. I can't just go, right, left.
See, if I'm doing that, I have to
and I did that. I did right, left after just saying that, and I'm like, hang on, did I actually move the right hand?
Yeah. You just start, that thing's annoying.
But I'm left-handed for certain things and right-handed for certain things.
That, if you're ambidextrous, you're fucked. All you can do is that.
I write left-handed. I've always written left-handed. I can just about scribble right-handed, like looking like a 3-year-old with a crayon, you know. But I play guitar right-handed.
Yeah.
I eat or literally swap the knife and fork until it just starts to feel natural, and I don't know which way I eat.
Yeah, so I eat the wrong way around.
Yeah, I do that. But then
it's like left fork in the left. I don't know,
yeah.
but it's really hard to cut the way that I eat.
Yeah,
like,
you forks in your left and the knife's in the right.
Scissors,
Damn it, that was really hard to figure out.
Yeah, I was like, what do I do?
And but scissors really are the work of the devil.
I get lost so easily. I panic going in a straight line for too long. Well, that's all I said. So
the number of times I've done that in strange cities, I've got the map. I'm looking for where I need to turn off, and I keep looking at the map because I'm like, I should have turned off by now. I should have turned off, and I shouldn't have. No. But I'm so expecting to get lost. I'm so scared of getting lost. I'm stuck to the map.
You need to share that hint you gave me the other day about how to cope with not being able to turn maps on your phone.
Okay, so screenshot the map. Turn it around on your phone, the picture, not the map itself. But also draw your route on a map and circle all like the big buildings and the interesting stuff you're gonna see, so you can actually look at the map and go, oh yeah, I can see that now. I'm there.
Of course, if you're doing it on your phone, do not draw on your phone with a pen.
Don't draw on your phone with a pen.
Use an art app, and then you can actually draw with your finger.
Beautiful.
Although, as I said in our chat before this, I'm probably the youngest person alive with an actual A to Z of London.
I prefer a paper map. It's so much easier, except they go out of date so quickly.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
I went to Rome once for a week on my own, and every day I just picked up 3 paper maps and just drew the routes I wanted. Because I was just... The beauty of Rome is, though, you're tripping over stuff that's interesting to look at, and the street names are weird and mythological and stuff, so it's easy to orientate yourself. So I'll look at the map, and the map will say, the Trevi Fountain is here, and I'll go, oh, that's that thing. You know, I'm not missing that, you know.
Have you ever gone into a place like a big restaurant or a cinema or something like that, got to a seat, and at the end of what you were doing, not be able to figure out exactly how to get back out of the building?
Yes. University campuses.
Fuck
off with that. I can't stand that.
I just used to get lost in buildings all the time. It was, ridiculous.
And I don't know who designed the signs in buildings. That was not designed by anyone who didn't already know where they were going.
Yeah.
No.
Well, once I have an internal map of how something is, like locations to get somewhere, I'm fine. I can run off my own internal map. I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but my internal
when
map...
I've been there a couple of times, but no, not first instance.
So I can, when I'm talking about going somewhere, so use Rome as an example again, I go, okay, so if you were on this square and that square has got that fountain on it, but if you go down that road and turn left and go there, the Trevi, and I'll do it and I can mentally map it out.
Yeah,
But if
that's
I've
how I
not
do it.
lived it, no chance.
Yeah.
No chance. I've got to have lived it at least once.
Yeah.
So like Victoria
no, I'm
Coach
the same.
Station in
I
London, I
can't
know.
do it
Come
from
out, go
reading
there,
a
go
map.
there. St Pancras, you know.
I need to have done it. I can sometimes, like, I've gotten used to driving around the city where I am because I've gotten used to driving the main routes. So I can figure out if I know where approximately or what off ramp or where I have to come off to get to a certain suburb. I can remember that and do that. Get to the suburb. I can look at the map and then try and figure out exactly what way I have to go to get to where I have to be, and most times be able to do that. Yeah, as long as I
can find my way in a general direction. Yeah. Don't give me an address. Just give me a general direction to go in.
Yeah.
My sense of direction is perfectly fine. My sense of direction is really good, so I don't have.
I always get to places, then get anxious. I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah, me too. See, my sense of direction is not good.
I don't know if that's a dyslexic
my sense of direction is brilliant. You can tell me, like, go find that place and I'll get there. But I will, all around the houses, like, I will get there.
For me, if I get somewhere one route, I can't then take another one. My brain is like, oh, fuck, where am I? Because the turnings are different sides, probably my lefts and rights, they're really bad. So I get spun out by it.
I failed my motorbike CBT the first time, not because I'd done anything wrong, because we went up a road and I had the radio in my ear from the instructor who was, behind me, because there were two of us being tested, and he said, "Go forward and turn right," and I turned left.
Now,
and he said, "You can't follow instructions and directions." I was like, "But who's giving me directions on a motorbike?"
Getting around a hospital you're not used to.
Oh yeah. I love my little.
That's particularly bad for you because you work as a nurse, so.
Yeah, so I have been in the same hospital for 10 years, but it took me a long time. As a student, I used to have to. I used to go to a hospital and find my way before my first day because I couldn't stand being late, and obviously that's just crappy, like your first day being late. So yeah, I used to have to go and do the route of where I was going and know where I was because. Obviously, it's multiple floors, multiple lifts. You're like, whoa.
There's that comedian who does that, isn't there? The Scottish comedian. I saw her on Mock the Week once. No, she was on Would I Lie to You? So it'll be repeated on Dave eventually.
Is she Sarah Milligan?
I think
glasses,
so.
Blonde hair?
No, dark hair, quite short, dumpy, quite well built.
I know.
And she said what she does is, the day before she has to go anywhere, especially when she's going to the BBC, because the BBC building is notorious, she will go the day before and do her route to the time to make sure she gets there.
Yeah.
Like, there was once she literally travelled from Edinburgh to London the day before she was due to do it.
Oh, bless her.
She got it right.
Oh my God.
It was just like...
That's extreme.
That's extreme, but...
I get it though. I've been places like an hour early because I think I preempt that I will get lost.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm gonna sit in my car and do nothing for an hour.
Car parks. The number of times I've parked my car park, come back at parked my car park, parked my car,
what you meant.
and come out and then gone. I have absolutely no idea where my car is.
Oh. All the time.
Okay, but do either of you watch Top Gear?
I have done.
Not anymore.
Okay. So there was an episode where they had to design a car for old people, and you know what Top Gear was like, very irreverent.
Yeah.
But there was one thing that was really clever, and I want it for any vehicle I ever own, which is they had a button on the key that released a flare that fired off the car. No, and then as you got closer, you pressed another button, and a balloon came out of the sunroof.
Yes. What a good idea.
Up to the car so you could see where it was, and then pull it in when you were done for next time. I was like, I want that. That's
you imagine getting in your car and you're like, sorry, just bringing my balloon in.
Yeah. Richard Hammond did something clever.
Yeah. Amazing. I have literally walked around a car park every now and then clicking my button to unlock my car until I heard it.
Yeah.
Pro tip, take a picture of where your car is before you leave it.
Yeah, I normally try to park next to numbers or letters for an area.
Or a sign, or
Yeah, because then I can remember that, and then I can always ask somebody.
So
Yeah.
You know
with me, I was all right because the motorbike section's normally all in the same place. My thing was I would literally walk to someone else's motorbike, and I'd get to it and go, "Where's my back box with my helmet in it?" And I'd look around and go, "It's over there."
You like step away.
And the thing is, I rode a Yamaha Delight frigging scooter with like a chrome trim on it, very bright thing. And I'd walk up to someone's CBR 125, which looked nothing like my. I rode a scooter, they're riding a motorbike.
You're like, I wish this was mine.
It's the equivalent of walking up to a Ford Fiesta and you actually drive a Jag.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Don't bash my Fiesta.
When
I'm talking about in visual terms.
Yeah.
But
the primary school I used to go to was my dad was a teacher there. Well, he was deputy headmaster, but he still taught as well. And so when I'd finish, I'd go and sit in his car and wait and get driven home because as soon as he finished work, he had to drive home anyway. So there was another staff member that had the same model car but a different colour. And the number of times, because she'd leave her car unlocked, I would end up sitting in the wrong car and she'd come out and go, "You're in the wrong car again."
Oh, crap.
Oh, no. Do you know what I used to do? My parents realised when I was a kid that I was terrible. So I always had a piece of paper in my kiddie purse or in my pocket that had my parents' mobile numbers, my dad's car registration plate, and where I was supposed to be written on it.
Love
and
it.
that wasn't in case someone found me, that was for my benefit. It's like, that sent me, like, we'd go somewhere, like, we'd go to a fun fair or something and say, "Off you go, Becca, you know, have fun." And then I'd be like, "I can't find the car." And I'd go in my pocket and it'd be red car, registration plate, or white car, registration plate, name it. I learned to identify cars by make, model, and year, just because it was the only way I could find my dad's car. My dad drove a Ford Mondeo white always, but he had about 3 different ones. And he'd had a white Cavalier before that, and he just had a thing about white cars for about 15 years. So I couldn't just say, "Oh, it's a white car, it's a white Ford." Do you know how many cars that describes? I'd be like, "It's a white Ford Mondeo, it's a Mark II, it's a Mark III, it's a Mark III facelift, it's an estate." And they'd look at me and they'd be like, "You're 9 years old. How do you know this about cars?" So I'm just repeating what I've been told.
I have to.
Yeah, this is what it's a Mark II Ford Mondeo, in white, and the registration plate. I'll never forget that car's registration plate. It was Mr. H with the last 3 letters, Mr. H. So the car's name was Mr. H in my head.
See, I can't remember my car reg for my life. And there's all of these, like the public car parks in England now, they want you to put in your reg so that you can't give someone your ticket when you're done. But yeah, I literally have no idea. I have to take a photo every time because I can't.
So what do you think can be done to actually help people like us, especially kids? I mean, obviously we want kids to be discovered sooner if you've got dyslexia, and systems put in place to make life a little bit easier.
I think schools sorry,
go back.
No, so I was just saying, I think schools could just do with some better knowledge.
Yes.
So they know that people have dyslexia, but I don't think they know how broad it is and what it can cover. You know, because when they're really young, they learn spellings, and you have to, like, if your memory is not great and you're getting chastised because you know, even though you've tried, it's just really, like, your morale is just, you're not going to enjoy school, are you? That's the thing.
And the thing is as well, don't assume dyslexics have problems with reading, writing, and spelling. They're all, I mean, you've seen with me, memory's atrocious, talk with my hands, you know, all of it. That's
me too, have you noticed?
Dyslexia. You know, the number of people
I've actually been sitting on mine, so I'm not
French.
waving them around too much.
Yeah, because I've been like, hey guys.
Yeah, otherwise I'm like this all the time. So I've been having my hands. You notice I've been fiddling with something in one hand, so I'm not waving my hand around, and the other hands I'm basically sitting on it, so I'm not waving my hands around.
That's why I smoke so much on streams, because it stops me going
yeah. Yeah, it's why I fiddle with things. So like, that sounded wrong, didn't it?
Are we gonna get Badger to make you that one, Jen?
Oh.
Excuse me?
There's a guy in the Harry Potter stream we did well yesterday for me here in the UK.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yep, yesterday. He makes wands, and the joke was, well, you know, we need one with a battery slot and with like a motor inside to make it vibrate.
Yeah.
Because my children really were just.
Well, why not? Everyone loves the vibrator joke.
I don't think I'd want him to make it out of wood. Yeah, I couldn't imagine a more worse place to get a splinter.
Yeah, no.
Oh, jeez, man. Oof. Don't even.
Yeah. I wish I hadn't said it now. Sorry for sharing.
It's okay. I'm right with funny things in orifices. I worked in A&E.
You need to get it back on to do a stream on that.
We should do a stream about that sometime.
That one might have to be anonymous.
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
As long as you keep the patients anonymous, it's fine.
Yeah, too true. And it was a while ago now. Let's just hope they're not watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't be. It's fine. And even if they are, they're not going to admit it's them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there is this one guy. It was multiple times. I'm not sure that he might. He was quite proud.
Did he fall on it?
Maybe it's not having it taken out.
He just didn't explain himself, although he did have to have major surgery, but that again is another story.
For another stream.
I'm now incredibly curious.
Yeah.
So we want better education for staff and teachers and stuff like that, so that they can actually help spot children sooner that need help, not just for dyslexia but for any reading or writing difficulties. But we also, I think there's also needs to be a thing of discouraging it as treating it as something that it's a negative, because
it's not an excuse, please.
Yeah, it's
Parents,
not certainly. Please
stop. Sorry, I have to get this right out there. Parents, your child is dyslexic. Your child is not made of glass. Your child will not break if they have to struggle with something. Give your child a chance. Do not go in there like a fucking helicopter parent and say that your child can't cope with the world. Your child fucking well can cope. Your child can cope better than you can, and your child knows their dyslexia better than any fucking professional. Listen to them and give them a chance. Be there for them when they trip up or fall over or have issues. But don't fucking stop them trying or say that they can't try. They have to learn to fail. We are dyslexic. We will spend our lives failing and fucking up. They have to learn that young and get that in their head that there is no failure. The only failure is in not trying. I don't care how many times you have to try to say the damn word or read it or write it or do whatever you're doing. Give your child the fucking chance. Yeah. Because the number of parents I've seen, especially in Facebook groups, they're horrendous for it. Who are literally, they will say, oh, my kid can't do that. My kid can't do homework. My kid can't do this. Your kid fucking well can do it. You are being a lazy bastard parent. Exactly. Sit down with your child and fucking educate them. My parents didn't know I was dyslexic, and my parents put fucking years of time, blood, sweat and tears into my education. And I ended up a straight A student because my parents cared and put the effort in. Be a fucking parent and raise your goddamn kid. Don't, it's not an excuse. Their dyslexia is not an excuse for you to fucking slack off or make excuses for them. Their dyslexia is an excuse to sit down with your child and say, how the fuck do we get you around this? How do we sort this out? What do we do to make this work for you? Sorry, that's just my... That's been bubbling up for years. Because parents, your kid is fucking intelligent. Your kid will do things. There are spy agencies all over the world. There are creative agencies all over the world who specifically recruit dyslexic people. And if you raise your child telling them you can't do shit, they are never going to reach their potential. So fucking grow up, grow a pair, and give your child the opportunities they deserve. End run. Sorry.
I'm 100% with you there, Becca. I totally agree. We need to. There definitely needs to be more opportunities given, and a degree of understanding, but also a willingness to push people, not just kids, but adults too, with dyslexia. Not push to the point of creating massive amounts of stress, but push to say that you can do this. You need to try to do this.
Yeah.
You know that.
But I think the thing is, a lot of it is just practical parenting. Like for me, my 3-year-old, I don't see any traits of dyslexia yet. Touch wood, but we'll see. Like, you don't know. But I just encourage reading. I encourage writing. You know, encourage holding pens the right way, and it's really not that difficult when they're really young to encourage good habits. Like, I would do it with anyone. And then if he was to struggle, then it's just to sit and do it with him. That's all it is. People just the time, man. But if you're having kids, why are you having kids if you don't want to do that?
There's also the advantage that you understand it too.
Yeah. I do get that.
Say, my child can't do this.
No.
All you are teaching your child is to avoid trying.
Yeah. And that's the worst thing. But that's the same to a kid with ADHD or a kid that's Down syndrome or anyone like that. You don't mollycoddle and say you can't do this. You say you can do this. You need to try.
Yeah. And as a parent, if they're struggling, help.
Yeah. And failure is definitely an option.
But
failure is always an option. And failure is not a bad thing. We learn from failures. The best things, the best way for us to learn is from failure, unless, of course, it's for something that might kill us. You know, lessons learned from failure are ones that stick with you. They're the fastest lessons that you learn.
Yeah, I failed my first year of my diploma in nursing, so I really struggled with a jump in the academic writing, and actually it took for me, I had a friend die in that time as well. It was horrible. We were only 19, so there was a lot of stuff going on, but it actually, when I failed, I was like, shit, I actually really want this. I really, really want this. So I knuckled down, and my grades went from, less than 40% to being A's, which in a diploma level, I think the last year is at degree level. So I guess I got like 2 1s in my last year. So, it's one of those things but that no one could have taught me that, because I needed to fail for myself to actually realise I'm really passionate about something. And I think that's what's hard about like primary and secondary education, is that you have to do certain things that you're not necessarily that interested in. And that's what I found difficult, was like, this is crap. Why am I doing this? Like, and then I would struggle on top, and I'd be like, for fuck's sake, why am I doing this?
I grew up believing I hated art.
Sorry, say?
I grew up believing I hated arts and crafts because I couldn't colour and I couldn't draw. Now, it's rare to find me without a crochet hook in my hand.
Yeah,
find what your kids are good at and encourage it.
Exactly.
Don't tell them you can't do it. Give them a chance.
Give them a challenge.
They might surprise themselves.
Challenges are what we need. If you mollycoddle and don't give a challenge in some way or another, or find a way to get that child or that adult to have that confidence to try something, then you're failing them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've struggled with this with my daughter, who suffers from chronic depression and basically social anxiety. So she struggles with getting outside the house even, and that's why when she decided she wanted a dog, her own dog. Even though that can be a struggle, especially with a young pup destroying things, which he's done a lot of, but he's adorable. That dog is getting her out of the house. That dog is making her leave the house and do things. She actually went to the beach with me today. To take the dog to the beach. So that is awesome.
That's amazing.
So
And she's figured it out. There are different ways of doing things.
yeah,
Like, I will literally sometimes borrow my dad's dog for a night. Because for some reason, having an animal in the flat gives me an immediate mental health boost for 2 days.
dogs are
Yeah.
So
great
when
for
I
that.
need to clean, I'll have him bring the dog over because I'll immediately go, it can't be a mess like this because the dog will trip over stuff he's got nowhere to lay down. And my brain will kick in.
Mm.
So I will just borrow my dad's dog to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he'll sit on the sofa for half an hour and watch me clean. He'll just look at me like I'm stupid, but he's a cute dog.
Yeah, I got my dog after I suffered really bad postnatal depression. And she got me out and into fresh air. And, you know, my husband would come home from work and I'd literally run out the house with the dog and go and walk the dog. It was amazing.
Yeah.
She really, really helped.
Oh, dogs are amazing things.
I
Cats can be
know.
good too for people. You've got to get the right type of animal for the person that you are.
Yeah, I always wanted a dog.
Anyway,
so I was
guys,
like,
we've
Yeah,
been
I
going
grew up
nearly
with a
2
dog, so...
nearly 2 hours. I think maybe we should wind this up, or else people are never
oh
going
my
to
gosh, are we? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if
Look
we
at
keep
that
going
from my
2
baby.
hours...
And you guys have to be places too, so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm alright.
So, I think we've come to the conclusion that we need better support systems for these kids, and we need to encourage them to do more. Not just say, oh, you can't do it. No, you've got to be encouraged. And we need better public understanding of what it means to be dyslexic, because we can laugh about it and say, oh, it's my dyslexia, but it is a challenge for all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel so much in common with both of you because it's the same stuff. Okay, I feel that perhaps mine's not as bad, but it's still the same things and it's still the same challenges, even if I don't necessarily think mine's at the same degree. I totally understand where you're coming from.
I thought my dyslexia was incredibly mild. But then I look at it and I'm like, oh, you do that too? Is that a thing? Is that...
Yeah.
So, definitely, if you are dyslexic, reach out to other people. Don't be ashamed of yourself either.
And
we laugh and joke about it because we've been there. We know what it is to have that shame and that guilt, and sometimes maybe feeling like you're a burden or anything else. You're not. You are an awesome human being. You are fantastic. You are the next step of the evolutionary chain because you don't think in straight lines.
And reach out to any of us
You know,
on
so-
Twitter. The links for all
Yeah.
our Twitters are down below in the description. Reach out to us, follow us, send us a message. If you're a dyslexic person and you need somebody else to talk to who's been there and done it, talk to us.
We're here.
We're here and we're happy to share our stories, and you can get a better picture of where you fit in these things and the things that you can achieve. If you feel like, especially if you're younger and you're feeling like you can't achieve, then you can achieve.
You can.
Each of us here is living examples of the fact that you can achieve. You've just got to reach beyond that and put the effort in.
And I promise you, once you do achieve, it's that much sweeter, but also it's literally something you can put on your CV of, I'm dyslexic and I did this, come at me.
Exactly.
No one can take that away from you.
And be proud to be dyslexic. Exactly. Be
proud of
proud.
it. Be proud of what you've achieved in spite of it, but also because of it.
Yeah.
Because your dyslexia will have helped you in ways you don't realise it's helped. Like, I have no filter, and that makes people think I'm friendly and bubbly and happy. And actually, I'm an anxious mess. Dyslexia. Believe it or not, I'm a total anxious mess. But the dyslexia and the dyspraxia, and you know, just let yourself be yourself, and don't worry about labeling things as symptoms or signs of it. Just be yourself and just be authentic to yourself, and dyslexic or not, or any other learning difficulty or not, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You really will. You'll find your niche eventually.
Sure.
Life goes on.
It does.
There's nothing so terrible that your dyslexia will make you do that will do anything that you can't come back from. And your dyslexia will give you the tools where you can deal with stuff you thought you could never deal with.
Yeah.
Like, I after what I've been through in school and everything else with teachers and professors and stuff, I walk into work now and I'm like, there's nothing my manager can say to me that's going to bring me down. Because my manager is not going to say that to me. And you grow a thick skin and you get resilient.
You have to do that with anything in your life that is
skill.
what other people don't think the norm.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with growing a thick skin, but you've also got to remember that underneath that, you're still a person you've got to achieve in your own life.
Yeah.
So.
Also, you're a great ad-libber because you can't read from a script. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the proof. Ooh, that way.
Yeah.
Okay, anything you want to shell out, Becca?
Hit me on Twitter. I'm Danger Hissy. I think the link's down there.
It is.
I'm going to shill my husband, seeing as he's not on this stream. My husband is a D&D fiend, atheist, great sense of humour. He's One Ring 3 on YouTube, One Ring 3 on Twitter, One Ring 42 on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go check him out. He's brilliant. His D&D streams are hilarious. I love it. And he's Media Musings. He gets me on and we talk Harry Potter, so definitely.
Yeah,
check
we've
out
talked
those.
a lot of really good stuff on Media Musings. It's been awesome fun.
We have. It's brilliant. And he's got Jen on Media Musings, so, that's your warning.
Yeah, I mean, any stream that's got both me and Becca on is going to go downhill fast. Although we did really well last night. It was over an hour.
Yeah, it was.
Congratulations.
Over an hour before it became pure smut.
And it wasn't our fault. It wasn't either of us. I mean, I know we didn't make it better, but it was Badger's fault.
Badger started it.
Yeah, Badger started it. For once, it wasn't one of us.
I mean, to be fair, you did start slacking though, because you were tired.
Oh yeah, I was pretty tired last night. I'm still pretty tired because after I got off the thing, I couldn't go to sleep. My brain just went. Yeah. You know how that happens when and you're going, why does my brain need to do that to me? It's not fair.
Yeah, performance high.
It wasn't fun. Donna.
Thanks.
Now people can follow you on Twitter, but what else are you up to?
Me? I don't do a lot more online, I've got to be honest, because I've got 2 little babies and I work, but maybe I should.
Maybe you should. You've got a lot of good stuff to say. We will definitely have to have you on another stream.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I want to read Donna's Strange Orifices Twitter feed.
Oh, should we have an A&E stream? The Tales of an Ex-A&E Nurse.
Yes, we so need to do that as a stream. I'm
keen.
On this coming weekend, on Critical Bitches, show with myself and Amanda, Becca is our guest, and we will be talking about some strange stuff of history.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that should be good fun.
So if you have anything you want debunking, anything you want to talk about, my specialisms are American diplomatic policy, 1901-ish onwards, Cold War history, don't get me started on the Vietnam War, I won't stop, and classical history, mostly the Romans. I'm not all that interested in the Greeks, to be fair, although, again, with the Iliad and the Odyssey, you get me started on Achilles and Patroclus, I just... So yeah, I'm also a massive Slash shipper, so if you find my fan fictions, beware. I say this on all streams, just like beware, dead dove do not eat, beware the warnings. And I don't know why, but after the stream yesterday, I don't know if it's linked, random guys found my Facebook and started messaging me and calling me their dear ones and telling me don't do that, I will fuck you up and hand you your ass on a plate.
I saw that. Gross.
I will actually I will tear your ass and hand it to you on a plate and force feed it to you. Do not fucking come at me with that shit. I am happily married and I will fuck you up. Just end of discussion. Men, behave yourselves, please. And I'm sure, just behave. Like, ew.
Ew. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the
and I'm a writer, so I can get very, very creative with the word fuck. Try me.
Yeah.
Now you know why Danger Hissy is my handle.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been an awesome show. Thank you everyone in the chat. I know it hasn't been a big group today, timing, but anybody who watches this later on repeat, thank you all for watching. and being a part of this. And remember to support those people with dyslexia out there, and give us all a follow if you're not following already. And yeah, have a really good one. And I won't end in my normal tagline because this is a serious show.
I will though.
Serious business.
Siri.
Yeah, but I'm gonna end in my usual way. I think I'm gonna say, take care, be good, and as my mum used to say, if you can't be good, be careful.
And if you can't be careful, don't get caught.
Yep.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.